Processes Session 1 Part 4, Plastic Pressure Pipe. At the end of this part of the session, you should be able to explain how we would protect plastic pipes, describe how we would cut and joint plastic pipes, including taking into consideration the X dimension, and state the clip distances for a plastic pressure pipe. In this part of the session, we're going to look at plastic pipes used for water delivery only. In the next part of this section, in this session, we're going to look at the pipes, plastic pipes mainly used for drainage. Firstly, we're going to look at MDPE, which is used for the underground supply of water to the property. It stands for medium density polyethylene. And when it's used for the supply of water, it would be blue, like you can see up here. It occasionally might be used for gas. In that case, you would see it coloured as yellow. Okay, might come up. There's a couple of types of pipes that we would use above ground for hot and cold water, or possibly for heating. And they are cross-bonded polyethylene, often shown as PEX, and polybutylene, sometimes shown as PB. You can buy straight lengths of plastic pipe in sort of 3 or 6 metre lengths, but normally it would come in coils. But some of the main benefits of plastic pipe is the fact that it's flexible. You don't need bends to take it around corners necessarily, and you can easily cable it through floors because it's nice and flexible. There are some issues with it. Hydrocarbons, any oil or petrol products, would break down plastic pipes, which means that we can't use it in ground that's been contaminated with oil without giving it special protection. And we also need to be very careful with jointing compounds, plumber's putty, because a lot of these contain oil which can damage plastic pipework or other plastic things like plastic cisterns. Okay. Very important to remember with plastic is whenever you put it into a fitting, you must support the internal wall. You can see here on the bottom left the insert being pushed into the pipe. Sometimes they might call it a pipe liner, or very occasionally they might call it a pipe stiffener. Okay. Important to remember, when we do cut plastic pipe, we use the correct tool. That's so we get a nice, fresh, clean, sharp edge after it's been cut, so it doesn't snag or catch as it's pushed into the fitting. So you'd only cut it with plastic pipe cutters or a plastic pipe slice. MDPE, like we've talked about, is used for the cold water supply to the property. It's going to be coded blue if it's carrying water, and you might see it as also in yellow, and that would mean that it would be carrying gas. Okay, when it's used for cold water, it would be connected to the mains through a fitting called a ferrule. You can see a picture of one on the right here. The minimum size is 25 mil going to a new property. They used to do quite a lot of them in 20 mil. More recently, the minimum size they use now to new properties is 25 mil, and that's the external flow. A couple of info: polybutylene or cross-bonded polyethylene can be used for hot water, cold water, or heating services. If you do use it for your heating pipework or connect it to a boiler in any way, you mustn't connect it directly to the boiler. You must leave at least 1 metre of copper tubing between the boiler and the plastic pipework, and that's because there might be residual heat from the heat exchanger, which could make the pipe overheat the pipe could become too flexible. Jointing plastic. Well, we looked previously at different methods of jointing. We can use compression. These are 2 examples of compression here. Here's a sort of type A compression, which we could use to joint to copper and to plastic. And over here we've got, some people call it a push fit compression, which is used to join MDPE. And here we've got push fit. This on the left is just a straight up push fit, which should be used for MDPE. And on the right we've got a push fit, which could be used both for copper and for polybutylene or cross-bonded polyethylene, to joint them, because they've both got the same external pipe diameter. Alrighty, so as we've just mentioned, cut the pipe using the appropriate pipe cutters, put in the pipe insert or pipe stiffener, and make sure that you push it fully into the fitting. So gauge it against the fitting first to see the depth of the slip, and then make sure you've got it pushed all the way in, because otherwise there's a risk of a leak. I'm going to very briefly look at X dimensions. Okay, all fittings have got an X dimension. It's not just plastic fittings, copper fittings. Any fitting would have an X dimension, and essentially what the X dimension is, it's the distance from where the pipe stops to the centre of the fitting. And the reason that we need to know it is because in plumbing, all of our measurements are measured from centre to centre. So if we know what the X dimension is, we actually know kind of what distance we need to take off of the pipe before we cut it. So a good example here. So like I say, in plumbing, we measure from centre to centre. We measure from here to here. So if the total distance we wanted to be centre to centre was 200 millimetres, okay, and we knew that the X dimension of each fitting was 15 mil, what we'd need to do is we'd need to take 200, take off 30, which is the 215s, and that would give us that length just here. So 200 minus 15 for here, minus 15 for here, equals 170. So we'd cut that bit of pipe at 170, we'd push the fitting on each side, and then our centre to centre measurement would be 200. Alrighty, briefly look at clipping. Now, plastic pipe gets softer as it's heated. So as a result of that, the actual manufacturer's recommendations will vary depending on the temperature. Okay, they are here. These are the manufacturer's recommendations, right? They're useful to know for real life, right? But the ones that I need you to remember, the ones that are going to come up in the test, are the ones that are on this page here. Okay, 15 mil clipped at 0.3 of a metre horizontally, 0.5 of a metre vertically, 22 mil is 0.5 of a metre horizontally, 0.8 of a metre vertically, and 28 mil is 0.8 of a metre horizontally, or 1 metre vertically. Okay. And now it is time for your task.